everybody. I wanted to talk to you guys just for a couple of minutes about crystal hoarding versus resonance. I see a lot of people, joke about hoarding or admit to crystal hoarding. And I also see a lot of people, especially people who are beginning to work with crystals, who kind of freak out and panic over which crystals they should own, how many they should have, what's essential, and feeling like, some of them feeling like they need to have hundreds of crystals in order to be able to work with crystals. And, the thing is, I have been working with crystals personally for over 20 years. I've been a professional crystal healer for over 15 years. And that may lead people to believe that I've got crystals stacked up to the rafters and ceilings in my home and, crystals everywhere. And yes, absolutely, I've got crystals in my home. Yes, absolutely, I've got, quite a crystal collection that I've built over the number of years. But compared to some people, my crystal collection is probably considered to be quite humble. And the reason for that is there isn't a single crystal in my keeping. And I use that term in my keeping because we don't own crystals. We may be temporary custodians for crystals, but we don't own them. Some of them are hundreds to thousands of years old, and they will outlive us all. So they're just currently in our keeping when we have crystals, or when we buy crystals, or collect crystals, or build a crystal apothecary, which is a term I use especially for myself and anyone else who works specifically with crystals and crystal energy as medicine, as energy medicine. So the crystals that are in my keeping, every single one is there because I felt a resonance, meaning I felt a connection to that crystal. I felt drawn to that crystal. I felt that I needed that crystal at that time. So every single crystal that's in my keeping, whether it's a crystal in my home, whether it's a crystal in my apothecary, when I was doing healing work and crystals were in my crystal healing kit, it's because there was a resonance. Not because it was pretty, not because I felt that, I had to have all these crystals, not because I'm just collecting. And I'm not going to sit in judgment of anything, but what I want to introduce to the conversation is consciousness and the level of consciousness, because there is growing concern about sustainability in the crystal industry, in the crystal marketplace, because yes, it has become an industry, it has become a marketplace. And again, for those of us who are working with crystals as medicine, or crystals, rock hounds, people who love and appreciate the beauty of crystals, even if they're not into their energy specifically, when we are approaching all of this from a higher level of consciousness, when we're seeking out resonance and the energy that speaks to us at the time and that serves us at the time, it's less about consumerism. It's less about greed. It's less about having to amass a whole ton of crystals. And it's more about working with them as sources of consciousness, mindfully working with crystals as allies in our healing, in our transformational process, in our relationship to them, in however that develops for us individually. So when you are either new to crystal healing, or you're going out and you're going to crystal shops, which of course we're all kind of pulled into crystal shops like moths to a flame, please considering that. Do I feel resonance with this crystal? Because to answer the question for people who are like, which crystals do I need? Which ones do I start working with? My answer is always based on, well, what energy do you need? What help do you need right now in your healing or growth or transformational process? Where you are right now as you watch this video in your process, on your path, whatever energy you need, whatever energy medicine you need from crystals, Those are the crystals that you need. You don't need hundreds and thousands of crystals. You just need the crystals that can be of service to you now in terms of energy. And yes, absolutely, it's beneficial to have an apothecary to draw from because our energy needs vary through the day, just like they vary through the week and the month and on our path. But again, when you're going out looking for crystals, you can seek out that specific connection, that resonance. And for those of you who are looking for beginner tips on how to build your apothecary, if you join my newsletter, and I have the link in the description here, within about 24 hours, you'll receive an email from me where you'll get a link to download what I consider to be sort of the essentials to a crystal apothecary, crystals that in my time, based on my Pro Crystal Healer experience, I feel service a lot of different needs. And I include practical tips in terms of application with that. And it's a bit different than top 10 crystals, whatever. This is based on what I've seen human beings in their path, in their process, find to be the most helpful and have the most application in terms of their healing process. So I'll leave you guys with that to consider. Sustainability, consciousness, mindfulness, seeking out that resonance so that every single crystal in your keeping has some kind of relationship to you, some kind of specific meaning, or provides some kind of energy you need at this time on your path and on your process. So thanks so much for watching. If you haven't already subscribed, please do. I put out videos every week. And if you want to learn more about my work, my books, my online crystal trainings, you can go to my website at www.krista-mitchell.com. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.